Let me ask you, Mark, real quick, and I'm not sure if it's in the book, but the day you met Donner, the day you meet him for the first time, and
Well,
jump to the day when you he knew who you were, because everybody knows that moment too, right? When you go from the meeting to, okay, now my responsibilities are on his radar. Walk me through that.
well, the first time I met him was at a casting session for Goonies,
Yeah,
um, and of course, uh, before I knew who Donner was, I knew his work. When I was 8 years old, I saw an episode of The Twilight Zone that he directed called Nightmare at 20,000 Feet with William Shatner,
yeah.
and that episode scared me so bad that to this day I can't sleep with curtains or blinds open. They have to be shut. And if you've seen the episode, you know which shot I'm talking about when the
Mhm.
gremlin's looking in at William Shatner when he throws open the curtain on the airplane. And I told Dick that I when I was introduced by Steven to Dick at the casting session, I said, "Oh, you're the man responsible for my nightmares," and he thought that was the greatest compliment ever.
Here, quickly! There's a man out there.
What?
Look, look, he's crawling on.
So and I think, I mean, obviously he knew who I was because he let me come up to Astoria to watch the shooting and then put me to work. But on Lethal Weapon 3 and during pre-production, we were had all the department heads in the production meeting, pre-production meeting, and I was just kind of taking notes for Jenny. And we got to the sequence, the hockey sequence, and Dick looked at me and said, "Okay, kid, you take it." And that was he trusted me with the responsibility of trying to coordinate that sequence or make it work, get the permissions, things like that. And actually, before that too, during Tales from the Crypt, the first day of shooting on his episode, Dig That Cat, uh, Dick threw the script at me and said, "Start cutting, kid," because we were 4 minutes over on the episode. So Dick was one of those guys who, if he thought you could do it, he would throw you in the deep end and uh, see what you could do.
Did he like doing Tales from the Crypt? Because I've heard stories about how actors get kind of sucked into this like episodic commitment in between their feature schedule and sort of put it off or want to like maybe bounce it to somebody in their ranks to take over. Did he like doing that? Did he take it on like a professional, or was he like, ah, shit, I
He
got to do this
did,
Tales of the
and the
Crypt
thing
thing?
is, he doesn't remember doing it. At least Dig That Cat, because he had just wrapped Principal on Lethal Weapon 2,
Right.
and right after shooting Tales from the Crypt, he was going to do the big house pull down
Yeah.
at the end of Lethal 2 out in Newhall. So he he was exhausted. And a couple of years after the episode, I was talking to him about it, and he honestly did not remember directing it.
Hmm.
But he was brilliant, and that was his professionalism, his commitment was, he was, as executive producer, he was obligated to direct an episode. In fact, his episode, along with Walter Hill's episode and Bob Zemeckis' episode, made up the the debut of the series.
Did you work with Hill at all on that? He's a character.
No, I I I met Walter when Stephen burned down his beach house or part of it,
Yeah.
and Stephen told me to go out and take footage of his house in Malibu for the insurance, and I was terrified because I'd seen Walter's films
Oh yeah.
and how violent they were, and I thought he's gonna spear me. He's just gonna run me through with something the minute he sees me. But he was the nicest guy. He was very quiet, um, very nice. I
He
was blown away.
he is surprisingly nice, and he has a backdoor connection to Spielberg too through production because Frank Marshall produced The Warriors.
That's
So
right.
they had worked together, but Peter Jason has done like 12 movies for Walter Hill and Lewis Smith. Keith Carradine, Academy Award winner Keith Carradine, did A Christmas Carol for us. He also did several movies with Walter, and probably will do a few more at some point on the horizon here because Walter is still with us and still working. But Lewis Smith told me a great story where he, like, as an actor, was trying to figure out his role on Southern Comfort. Sonny Landham's in that too, by the way. Sonny Landham later went on to play Billy in 48 Hours and then Billy in Predator. But Sonny Landham's actually one of the main antagonists in Southern Comfort, but he doesn't have any speaking role lines. So he's sometimes overlooked in the conversation. But Lewis Smith walks up and he's like, "Hey, excuse me, Walter, for my character, I've got some thoughts I want to work out. I would like to ask you about this line here." And Walter like puts the Sharpie in his mouth, takes the cap off and just draws a line through and goes, "What's your question?" and Lewis goes, "I never went back to him for anything."
Hi, I'm William Salyers, the actor behind Rigby from Regular Show, Doc Ock from Marvel's Spider-Man for the PlayStation, Morton Solus from Mass Effect, and many others. Help me cure neuromyelitis optica spectrum disorder, NMOSD, and with it, cancer. Go to the Guthrie Jackson Charitable Foundation and donate today. Please and thank you.